We are talking about 3 different professional sports today, but all in different phases of their seasons. So grab your tickets and join us in the student section. Welcome to SGTV's premium sports show. I am Austin McConnell, and I am joined alongside my good friends and partners, Calvin DeLude and Zander Collins. We have a loaded episode for you today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, fellas, lots of pro sports talk today, and we're going to start with some postseason conversation, my personal favorite time of the year. We have the NHL and NBA playoffs starting tomorrow, so we're going to be looking at the brackets and breaking down our favorite matchups in round 1. We're going to start with the NBA. The Western Conference is on the left side of the screen and the Eastern Conference on the right. The final 2 play-in games are tonight to decide the 8 seeds. But looking at this bracket, what's the matchup that y'all are looking forward to the most?
Oh, y'all already know. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets are set to face off for their 29th game in the past 3 seasons. Are you kidding me? It's become such a big rivalry now, and I think that either, on any given night, either team can beat the other one, and I'm just excited. Of course, I'm going to back my Timberwolves, but, I mean, the Denver Nuggets have the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, so it'll be interesting for sure. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how Jamal Murray plays, because he always plays really well against the Timberwolves. He's on pace for, I would say, either a second or third team All-NBA caliber season. So it's definitely going to be, I think, the surrounding pieces that make a big difference for Denver. As far as Minnesota, I think they've got surrounding pieces that will need to perform as well. Anthony Edwards is going to perform on any given night, but it's really the other guys, I think, that really tell the tale of this matchup. I mean, because you look at the other matchups in the West, and the Thunder are really great. The Spurs are really great. They're going to be playing 2 weak teams coming in out of the play-in, and then the Lakers and the Rockets. The Rockets haven't been very convincing for me this season, and the Lakers are really injured. So I'm going to go with my guys, the Wolves. I love them.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely one of the most exciting matchups in the postseason when you're talking about 2 elite postseason performers like Anthony Edwards and Nikola Jokic. But you can't talk about elite postseason performers without talking about LeBron James, the 2nd greatest basketball player of all time. And yeah, I know you're just kind of pooping on that matchup, but I'm actually most excited for the Lakers versus the Rockets. I mean, you have LeBron James, who you can see single-handedly take over a game considering the fact that Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are out. And you also have Kevin Durant on the Rockets side, and 2 really strong defenses. I mean, I'm really excited for that matchup. If the Lakers can win this first round too, they're gonna, you have the possibility of getting Luka and Austin back. I know Austin's injury is a little up in the I know Austin Reeves' injury is a little up in the air. But Luka, I think he just returned to the team today, and I think that you really you could see that matchup go either way. Both those teams, I think, could make a strong push deep into the NBA postseason. But it's also, it feels really even right now because of how injured the Lakers are. So I think that's going to give us some really fun games, and I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, you got to think that if LeBron is able to hold off the Rockets for maybe 1 or 2 games before the series gets out of hand, that Austin Reeves could maybe come back. I think he's slated to come back either at the end of the first round, mid first round. But Luka, it's complete question marks. We don't really know. But if the Lakers are able to get their guys back, I think it's a great matchup. But Houston just got too much firepower for them, I think.
Yeah, 2 great Western Conference matchups. I'm going to head to the Eastern Conference side of things. I'm going to look at the Atlanta Hawks versus the New York Knicks.
Good pick.
The Knicks are the 3 seed, Hawks as the 6 seed, but I think it's going to be a little closer than people expect. The Knicks won the season series 2-1 and just winning 108 to 105. So another close matchup there. I like the Jalen versus Jalen show. Jalen Brunson's been averaging 20.3 points over the last 10 games, and then Jalen Johnson for the Hawks is scoring 22.5 points per game and averaging 10.3 rebounds all season. So it's been a very solid performance from both those Jalens. I think this is going to be a 6-game series in favor of the Knicks, but I would not be shocked if the Hawks come out and play hard and upset the Knicks because they have looked so good since the trade deadline. They were in the play-in area, honestly on the bubble of even making that, and now they have won their way into a series, and it's going to be very interesting.
I really, really, really like that pick, Austin, not only because my guy, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, is going to probably win Most Improved Player for that squad, but also because Jalen Johnson has taken that step from kind of outside looking into the All-Star conversation and then making his first All-Star game appearance this season. The Hawks are good, man. They started the season really poorly, made some great moves at the deadline. Like I said, Alexander Walker has over doubled his points per game from last season, has become really the hub of their offense. Jalen Johnson was that much at the beginning of the season. But I don't think the Knicks look really great. Much like my concerns with the Rockets, I think that they started at a very high level, and over the season they've kind of fallen into complacency and kind of playing to the level of the teams around them. Jalen Brunson, known playoff riser, though, so I have no worries for him going into this postseason.
Real quick, rapid fire, NBA champion, who you got?
I don't want to say because it's probably going to be the Thunder.
It's probably
again.
going to be the Thunder.
But I was talking to people the other day about like the best runs in NBA playoff history, and everyone is always saying the 2011 Mavericks, taking out Kobe and Tim Duncan and LeBron. But if the Timberwolves are able to do it, which is a long shot, it's very dependent on how Julius Randle plays, they would have taken out the Nuggets, the Spurs, the Thunder, and then whoever comes out on the East side. So if someone is able to make it out of that gauntlet and it's not the Thunder or the Spurs, I think it's gonna be up there in history in terms of one of the best runs ever. I'm going to stick with my guns and just say the Timberwolves just to be positive, but it'll probably be the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunder are one of the most dominant teams we've seen in the NBA. I mean, I think in history, that run last year, I know in the finals, the Pacers definitely gave them a run for their money, and the injury to Halliburton definitely didn't help.
So true.
But, I mean, this year, like they just look so good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing some of the best basketball of his career, even though he is a foul merchant. Led the league in free throws made, but I mean, yeah, like they are just really scary. They're gonna have an easy first round here, playing a play-in team, and I'm looking at both of the, I was looking at the different matchups and different games from earlier this season, trying to pick my favorite matchup. And I'm seeing the Thunder, they beat this team by 40 points. Oh, they beat this team by 40 points. I was looking at Lakers Thunder. I mean, they played twice, I think, in the last month of the season. Both times it was by like 45 points.
Yeah, it's not really that fun to watch.
And the fact that they are such a young team, like all of that talent is homegrown. And, they haven't signed their players to longer-term contracts yet, so they still have a lot of money to work with. I mean, the Thunder are a scary, scary thing for the NBA right now, and I could see them becoming a bit of a mini dynasty right here. I don't think anyone's going to stop them this season, and I see no reason why they can't continue that success next season and going forward for at least the next 3 or 4.
What about you, Austin? Who do you think's winning it?
Yeah, the Thunder. I think the Celtics could make a little bit of noise coming out of the East. I just don't really trust the Pistons quite yet. I know they're the 1 seed. I like how they're getting back to their bad boy Pistons kind of ways, but I just don't see them as a huge threat. Also, I'm a Hornets fan, so I hope we pull off a miracle
I
upset
honestly
as
think
the
you guys
AC.
could take that
I,
series.
I think there's a very real possibility, but like it also wouldn't surprise me if they go and lose tonight. Like that's just
correct.
With that Hornets team, you never know what team you're getting going into the matchup each night. But when they are on and really and playing their best basketball, they're a fun team. They are a really, really fun team. So
Yeah, Concanupal looked like a rookie in a big moment type game the other night.
why is he putting that shot up with like 13 seconds? You're down by, 3 with 13 seconds on,
But it's okay,
on the
the
shot
Hornets
clock,
have
and he
Kobe
just
White.
hooks that up. But, I mean, he made the shot, so that's all that matters. But, I mean, that was crazy.
It's okay because the Hornets have Kobe White sent it to overtime, beat the Heat. They'll be taking on the Orlando Magic tonight for the final spot in the Eastern Conference, and then following that, it'll be Golden State versus Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference. The NBA playoffs tip off at 1 p.m. tomorrow with the Raptors and Cavaliers. Now let's move to the ice and the chase for Lord Stanley. Round 1 matchups, once again, Western Conference on the left side, Eastern Conference on the right. Fellas, what catches your eye here?
I mean, this might be a bit of a surprise to people. We're talking about how dominant the Thunder are in the NBA, and the team that has been kind of getting that hype in the NHL has been the Colorado Avalanche. But I could very easily see the LA Kings giving them a run for their money. Maybe not knocking them out in this first round, but I could easily see that series going to 6 or 7 games. And this Avalanche team kind of reminds me of the Boston Bruins from a few years ago, who got all that hype. They won the President's Trophy and then got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. And I think that, while they have all this hype around them, and a lot of times we've seen that bite teams in the tail. So I really think that the Kings, they are a scrappy team. They're going to have to keep up with Colorado offensively. I mean, Nathan McKinnon is having one of the best years of his career. I mean, he's in the MVP conversation in the NHL. But I could very easily see the Kings giving Colorado a harder time than people are giving them credit for. So I'm really excited to see if that ends up panning out.
That President's Trophy curse is real. We saw it with the Bruins, like you just mentioned, Calvin, and then the Rangers the following year where they got knocked out. And then Winnipeg won the President's Trophy last year, got knocked out. Now they're one of the bottom teams in the league. Zander, who's your pick?
In terms of a series, you guys know I'm not super well versed in hockey, but one thing that does stand out to me are the Utah Mammoth taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, because those are the two newest teams in the league. So I think it sets up a pretty interesting matchup against the Oilers in the second round, because let's be honest, they're a very good team and they have a great shot of taking down the Ducks. But I think when it comes to who the Oilers are starting to become that team that we expect to make deep runs in the postseason every year, and I think it'd be really cool to see the Mammoth take on a team like that. I always was fond of the Coyotes, but
yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the Coyote faithful. Personally, I have a bit of a hatred for the Mammoth because I went to an Islanders Mammoth game with my family, who are in the background behind the camera, and saw them just get absolutely demolished by Utah, and it was not a fun game. So I hope they get knocked out in this first round, but I think it's impressive the season that they've had, considering the uncertainty around the team going into it. And but yeah, like you said, the two newest teams. I mean, it's impressive.
How's that for puck knowledge?
Yeah, it's impressive how quickly. I mean, the same thing with Vegas. I know that's a little bit different because they were an expansion team.
Didn't they go to the Stanley Cup like one of their first
yeah,
the first year they played the Washington Capitals in the Stanley Cup Finals.
And that's crazy. I'm not, big Caps fan right here.
Oh yeah.
So between the inexperience of the Mammoth and then I wouldn't say inexperienced because these guys have been.
But the Coyotes sucked, so
yeah,
it's not really.
I mean, in terms of the new franchise,
it was a quick turnaround for Utah.
Yeah,
impressive.
In terms of the new franchises, I think it sets up a couple cool narratives depending on who wins that matchup. Vegas can try to kind of reinstate that precedent that they set when they first came into the league, and Utah can kind of rewrite their history literally and take on two good teams either side coming out of the other matchup.
Yeah, it's a great pick, Zander. Vegas has looked really good since the addition of John Tortorella behind the bench. But Utah is they really closed their season on a heater. And another team that closed their season on a heater was the Ottawa Senators. So again, y'all both go Western Conference. I'm headed back to the East. Senators versus Hurricanes just up the road in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hurricanes had the second-ranked overall offense this season in the NHL, have elite speed with Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. Ottawa's goaltending could be a flaw, and I think if Aho and Jarvis can really, what's the word I'm looking for? Expose their goaltending issues, I think Ottawa could be in some trouble. But I think this is also going to be a lot closer than people expect. Carolina's trying to get over that hump that they've been trying to get over the last few years, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, can't find a way back to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think this is the year they could do it and probably should do it. This is probably towards the end of their window, but they have that experience now after playing in these big playoff series the last few years. But I think Ottawa's going to really give them some issues. Brady Tkachuk, obviously American hero for Team USA at the Olympics. Obviously, it was Jack Hughes with the golden goal, but Brady Tkachuk with the scrums, he sets the tone, and I think he's going to do the exact same thing for Ottawa. I'm leaning towards 6 or 7 games for this series, but I think Carolina gets over the hump this year.
Yeah, I think all great points, Carolina. This is definitely, I think the best shot that they have at finally getting over that hump and finally getting to the to the finals, as you were saying. But Ottawa is a scary team. Ottawa's an impressive team. They have a strong offense. I know Carolina, like you said, second in the league, but I think it's going to be a lot better of a series than a lot of people are anticipating, and I could see it going to 6 games.
It's been 20 years since the Carolina Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup playoffs start tomorrow at 3 p.m. with a face-off between the Hurricanes and Senators. All right, next up, it might be time for teams to make history in other sports, but it's time for the future of the NFL to take center stage. It's draft season, and we're here to give you our round 1 mock draft. How it's going to work is Zander will kick us off with the first overall pick, then I'll go, then Calvin will go, and we'll alternate picks throughout the entire round. So Zander, will you do us the honor of giving us your first pick? I know it's a head scratcher.
Yeah. So I'm taking control of the Las Vegas Raiders under their first-year head coach in Clint Kubiak, who I'm sure Calvin is very upset to to see go.
Yeah, I mean, Clint Kubiak, he did a great job at leading the Seattle offense, and you saw them take a big step up in the second half of the season. And I think what he did a really good job of is taking pressure off of Sam Darnold, and I think that's going to be a big piece in this year, whether we see Kirk Cousins or who you're about to take under center at the start of the season. So I think, and utilizing Ashton Genty, who really wasn't used to his full potential last season. So Kubiak, a big addition for the Raiders.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The pick will come from under center, and everyone has known, I think, since the Heisman ceremony,
it's the worst kept secret
in the
world.
It will be Fernando Mendoza. I'm pretty sure he has the playbook already for Vegas. When you have the number 1 overall pick, you really want to be taking a swing sometimes on guys you think can pan out at the next level. When I see the quarterbacks in this class, I think Mendoza has the best chance of doing that. A lot of people were pretty critical of him playing a lot of RPO style ball at Indiana, but if you watch this guy play, you know he's got something special about him. He's pretty scared in the pocket, I would say, so it'll be good to have someone like Ashton Genty to be that running back for him. I think Vegas is a very exciting young team to watch. I'm not sure they'll win many games, but they'll be fun to watch. So yeah, Mendoza first overall, not a surprise.
Cool. Round 1, pick 2 to the Jets. I'm looking at where they need help, and it's everywhere for the Jets. So
pretty much.
But
yeah.
I'm looking more at defense. In Texas Tech with David Bailey, they had a great defense this year in the Big 12. But I'm also looking at Arvell Reese from Ohio State, linebacker. I think he's going to give them the size they need in the back of the defensive field. So I'm taking Arvell Reese out of Ohio State.
I'm a bit
like
surprised by that. I will say I really think they're going to go David Bailey in the actual draft. But I mean, Arvo Reese, you can't deny his talent leading that Ohio State defense. But we've seen how important having a good edge rusher can completely turn around a defense. And I think that for Arizona right now, they are one of the worst set up teams to really start to get things going. They have pretty much nothing going for them right now, and as a Seahawks fan, that brings me nothing but a big old pile of joy. But we have seen how important edge is. However, I do think that Arizona is going to want to take some offensive line help, and I think that the best tackle in the draft is Francis Morigoa? Moaga?
Yeah.
Sure. It's a difficult name, but you can't deny his talent. Really, he was a huge piece in how in that playoff run that Miami had, protecting Carson Beck. And I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be under center for the Cardinals this year. Don't really know what the situation is there. But, that's locking in a right tackle for the next 8 years for Arizona, which has become so important in the NFL, as I've been saying, with teams really trying to gain some elite pass rushers. So I'm going to take Francis Moaga here.
That's really disappointing because that's who I really wanted for my next pick at 4,
Yeah.
which is Tennessee. I don't think they're in a position to take a luxury pick like Jeremiah Love, even though I would really love to do that for them.
See what you did there.
I didn't even realize that I did that. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
Okay.
But Tennessee needs a lot of help, specifically on offense, and it would be awesome to have someone like Moaga. So I think you would just have to take somebody that would be good value at the pick. Jeremiah Love is sitting there, and I would hate for him to go to New York. So I'm going to go against my better judgment and give Cam Ward another weapon, because if you can't have someone. If you can't take someone at this pick that's good enough value that's going to protect him, you should just take somebody to give him a weapon. And I think Jeremiah Love is a great pass catching back, but even out of the backfield was probably in an era where we've seen Ashton Genty. I think he might be the most impressive running back I've seen in college football in the past half decade, maybe. So I'm a big fan of him, and I would love him in Washington, but I just don't want him in New York, so I'll take him for Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see what Saleh, new head coach Robert Saleh for the Tennessee Titans, decides to do, whether he wants to prioritize getting help for his young quarterback or adding to his defense, which we know he is great defensively, one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. So curious to see what they end up doing there, but I think Jeremiah Love, like you said, is one of the most elite talents we've seen in the draft, so hard to say no to that.
Round 1, pick 5 to the New York Giants. I think this team is not too far off from being competitive. They're a fun team. You got Jackson Dart, you got Scadaboo. I'm not saying like 1 or 2 picks. I'm saying a few years down the road. But if they can build the foundation starting now, I think
Jackson
the Giants.
Fart? I don't know, man.
Saxon Fart?
Saxon Fart.
Their
Scat
offense has shown signs of explosions at times last season before Scatabo and Jackson Fart Dart got hurt or whatever. But I think if the Giants are sitting at pick 5 and David Bailey is still there, I think it's a no-brainer that they're going to have to take that edge rusher out of Texas Tech.
No, I agree. I mean, if Bailey's there, you got to take him. And now working with pick 6 right now for the Cleveland Browns.
You're going to hope that this pick 6 is a touchdown.
Okay, didn't love that. But right now, I think the top 2 needs for Cleveland are offensive line and wide receiver. They do have 2 picks in the first round, and I think if this player wasn't off the board, they'd go O-line this early. I would go, if I was the GM, I'd go O-line this early, but Carnell Tate is still sitting there. So I think, if you're Cleveland, get an elite weapon. You don't really, I mean, is Deshaun Watson playing quarterback this year? That's what I've been hearing. You have Shadur, you have Dylan Gabriel. Do they? No, they don't have Flacco anymore. Still, you have 3 okay quarterbacks to work with. So someone's going to have a good connection with Carnell Tate. So I'm taking Carnell Tate here at pick 6.
I am very, very excited, gentlemen, for this pick. For it is my Washington Commanders that are getting the player that I have wanted the whole draft process. People will tell you that he's got knee problems and he won't pan out because of it, but Washington needs so much help in the secondary. I was really high on Mikey Sainer still coming off of his amazing rookie year, and I think we need some help. Lattimore released him, so we need some help in the secondary. I'm going to be taking safety Caleb Downs from Ohio State.
Can't go wrong with that pick. He's an elite defensive player. I will say I'm surprised you didn't go Reuben Bain, though.
That's what I thought you were going to say, yeah.
I don't think he gets to me in a real draft.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And I also just didn't see him, but it's okay because I feel good about that pick.
Well, the Saints are going to feel good about this pick as well because they're going to get Reuben Bain from Miami.
There you go. Yeah.
Thanks for leaving him there.
Oof. Stinker.
Reuben Bain. Now at pick 9, the once victorious Kansas City Chiefs coming off of a very disappointing season. You have Patrick Mahomes recovering from a torn ACL that he suffered late in the season. But they did lose their top 2 starting cornerbacks, who are both on the Rams now, which we don't like to see. But it's all good because you have Mansour Delane, the best cornerback prospect in the draft, here, and I'm going to take him at number 9 for Kansas City out of LSU.
I think this is a pretty easy pick for the Bengals, seeing as Sonny Styles has fallen all the way down. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson going to Baltimore, they're going to have to fill in some of that defensive pressure, and I think Sonny Styles is an athletic freak who will do that for them. Sonny Styles going to Cincy.
Heading down to Miami, I think another team that just needs help everywhere. And I think if, they are pick 11, the 11th guy ranked on the big board is Spencer Fano out of Utah, big offensive tackle. So I'm going to take him for the Dolphins.
Well, that's a good pick. I don't think he falls that far necessarily in the
shocked
real
as
draft.
well.
He's
Yeah.
a great prospect.
Okay. All right, now with Dallas. Dallas is a tricky team because they're good, not great, pretty much everywhere, except they could use a lot of help defensively. I'm looking at Jermon McCoy out of Tennessee. We could go O-line help. It wouldn't surprise me if they, in real life, tried to trade up and get a Sonny Styles or a Reuben Bain. But here, I'm going to take Jermon McCoy, get some corner help. That is... From my many Cowboys friends, which I don't know why I do that to myself.
Those aren't friends.
All they do is complain about defense. So I think Jermon McCoy. Either way, even if corner's not their biggest need, he's one of the best players available. Wide receiver, obviously, you're set with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. O-line, Jerry Jones doesn't care about O-line. So I think it was Jermon McCoy there. That's a very Jerry Jones pick.
13th overall, we've got the LA Rams taking over Atlanta's pick from last season so that they could trade up and take,
James Pierce, who is now going to jail. So great job, Atlanta. That was really good.
I think that the Rams are in a really, really unique position. You could look and see and try to maybe think they would take a quarterback. I think they can get a decent one for Stafford's replacement in later rounds, or maybe even wait until next year's draft.
Yeah, I think next year you have a few great quarterback
or even
prospects.
taking someone like Drew Aller in later rounds, I think could be a good option for them. But they're in an incredibly blessed position to be able to take this player. And I think with some of the questions over the receiving room with Puka Nacua and his mental health, I want them to take Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon, because I think they're in a position to make a pick like that. They can pick. Shout out Billy who mocked that yesterday, but I think that it's just a really fun, exciting pick for another weapon for Matt Stafford.
No, I mean, you're talking receiving options, and like you said, we not really sure what the status of Puka Nacua is going to be going into the season. I mean, hopefully whatever is going on with him mentally, he can figure out and get back on the field, because as much as it sucks to watch him torch the Seahawks defense, he's also a really fun player to watch. So anytime he's off the field, it's not good for the Rams or the NFL as a whole. But yeah, Kenyon Sadiq is a great player, and he could be a great option for Stafford.
Quite the disappointing year from the Ravens last year, as they just struggled, and Lamar was not looking like himself. So on one hand, I'm looking, do we give him another weapon on the offense with Mekhi Lemon out of the University of Southern California, or do we help him out on the O-line with Monroe Freeling from Georgia? Because we've seen a lot of Derrick Henry 1 yard, 2 yard rushes, which for Derrick Henry, to take him down, you need 2-3 guys. So if 2-3 guys are getting through your O-line on a rush, that's a problem. And then we also see Lamar scrambling way too much, especially last year as well. So I'm going to go Monroe Freeling from Georgia.
I really like that pick, Austin, because I think the biggest complaint, other than Mark Andrews, that I've heard from Ravens fans this past season was the line and how they're paying guys a butt ton of money to do basically nothing.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's one specific guy. I think it's their right guard. I can't remember his name. I think he wears 78. But every week I'm seeing a video of him just not blocking. I mean, it's Anthony Bradford levels of frustrating, and the Ravens aren't winning. So
yeah, my roommate is a diehard Ravens fan, and that's all he's talked about is help the O-line, please.
No, I think that's a great pick, and I'm actually going to follow up with another offensive line pick with Tampa Bay. You know, Tampa Bay, they really are a good team. I know they're losing Mike Evans, but I mean, I think Emeka Egbuka is can really fill that wide receiver one hole. I wouldn't surprise me if they go wide receiver. I mean, you know what? No, never mind. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna take Mekhi Lemon for Tampa Bay. I just talked myself out of. I was gonna take some O-line help, but I'm gonna take Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Get Baker Mayfield another weapon to work with.
All right, we are officially about halfway done with the draft, so I'm gonna start to make a little bit of quicker decisions. New York Jets at 16. I think in the NFL it happens a lot where the first big receiver comes off the board, or I guess Carnell Tate already went, but when people start to take receivers in the middle of the first round, I think that's when other teams start to panic and they don't think they can get their guy. So I think the Jets, they need a lot of help, but Jordan Tyson definitely does not hurt their projections. Put him alongside A.D. Mitchell. Be a fun duo.
I've seen a lot of people taking Ty Simpson out of Bama at that pick for the Jets. But I mean, they just traded for Geno. So their quarterback situation's just doing just fine.
I'm just not a huge fan of a lot of the quarterbacks in this draft class, so I think in terms of the Jets, it'd be a better option to just go a year with Geno and have a weapon for whoever they can get early in next year's draft, because let's be honest, they probably aren't going to be very great.
Yeah, fair enough.
Round 1, pick 17, going to the Detroit Lions, and I might be the most boring person in this draft. I've taken like 3 offensive tackles, and I'm taking another one. Caden Proctor out of Alabama can help Detroit on that line as well. Also had a down year after having such a fun year in 2024, so I think the Lions go offensive tackle as well.
Yeah, I respect that pick. Now working with Minnesota here at pick 18. Really not a lot of holes on this Minnesota team. Once again, kind of the one thing they need to step up is 9, J.J. McCarthy. They need him to play
Good
better. And I'm debating whether or not, because you have a player like Harrison Smith who has led that defense for so many years, but he's getting up there in age. And so I think I think the best play for Minnesota, especially now when we're seeing, players like Nicky Manwari and the safety for the Ravens, I'm blanking on his name. Kyle Hamilton, exactly. Be so important to completely turning around defensive success. A lot of teams utilizing nickel formation more and putting 3 safeties on the field. So I'm going to take Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. here
don't
for
hate it.
Minnesota.
Don't hate it. Austin, I'm gonna let you pick for the Panthers, and then I'll take
You can take Dallas's pick.
I'll take Dallas. Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Carolina had a great, they had a good year last year. Made the playoffs, made the wild card, really gave the Rams a run for their money, almost had them there down the stretch in Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Their defense kind of choked it away. I mean, you're playing soft coverage, under 2 minutes to go, and they've got Puka Nacua on the outside, just routing us up.
Yeah,
So,
and that Higbee catch, I mean,
Yes.
there's not really any way you can defend that. That was just one of the greatest catches in playoffs of this playoff season, so it was just incredible.
I agree. So Carolina, I think most importantly, they made a lot of splashes in free agency this offseason. They are spending so much on the O-line. So I'm actually not going to take an O-line for the Carolina Panthers. I would have taken your pick, the safety out of Oregon, Thieneman. I think Carolina's going to kind of reach for this pick, but I think I would be most happy if they took either an edge rusher or somebody in the backfield. I was going to take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. I think he's very solid for the MAC. Was, I think, Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm going Keldrick Falk out of Auburn, the edge rusher. I think we just need pass rushing as badly as we do secondary. We need a guy like Brian Burns, and it's funny because we had him a few years ago, but now we don't. And so a lot of shake-up on the defensive side of things for Carolina the last few years, but I would be the most happy if we were able to take a secondary or a solid edge rusher.
All right, it's me, Dallas.
Yep. And then we'll go to
Okay.
Calvin. Yeah.
Who'd you take? Keldrick Falk?
There's kind of a lot of questions in terms of whether George Pickens will be back next season, and I'm a big fan of Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana, so I'll go with that.
Wow. Okay, that's actually that kind of throws me off because I was going to take him for the Pittsburgh Steelers. My thought process here being, either way, you know, new head coach Mike McCarthy he's a quarterback friendly coach and he wants weapons for whoever's going to be under center. So I know it's kind of a question mark right now whether it's Rodgers or Will Howard. I don't know. Not exactly the best options
your
right
poison.
now. So I was thinking to go get another receiving option to pair with DK Metcalf, but now, once you get kind of later in the draft, it's really just best player available, and I think the best player right now is Olivega Ione out of Penn
I was going to
State.
say, is everyone passing up on him because they don't know how to pronounce his name?
That might be it, but I mean, watch the tape. He
Yeah.
speaks for itself. So definitely, I think a good pick for Pittsburgh either way.
Los Angeles Chargers now. Interesting. Very interesting one. I think they need a lot of help in protecting Justin Herbert. Watching that playoff game against, was it the Texans?
Just
Was
running
it-
for his life.
Was it the
It
Texans?
was the
It was.
Patriots.
The Patriots game?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So as much
I
as
mean,
Well,
yeah.
the Texans the year before as well.
Oh, I mean,
both wild card games.
You could look any playoff game
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's played, any game Justin Herbert's played essentially, and he has no O-line help. I think part of that is they do have offensive line talent that's just not healthy.
Becton and Joe Alt have not been able to stay healthy during their time in LA, so I'm going to take Blake Miller out of Clemson
Yeah,
to try to shore up that tackle position for LA.
That's a great pick. You got to keep your quarterback healthy. Madison Beer can only do so much. So.
Philly is up next with round 1, pick 23. Another team that just very solid already. I think their secondary has looked great, so I'm not going to take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. I'm headed back down to Miami. Another edge rusher, Akeem Messidor.
I don't mind it. Obviously, they lose Jalen Phillips to your Panthers, so they'll need some help on defense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now talking Cleveland Browns, once again, their second pick of the first round. As I said earlier, their top two needs going into this draft are wide receiver and offensive line. Every single one of their starting offensive line last year left in free agency, and so they're going to have to rebuild that, so I'm going to take Caleb Lomu out of Utah.
I don't know what they're feeding those guys out in Utah, but they continue to produce
They got
great
some big
talent
boys.
on the line. Let's see. We've got the Chicago Bears up next. Nolan's team. Calvin Nice friend Nolan.
I have friends too, don't worry.
That remains to be seen.
You say a lot about them, but we haven't seen any of them, Austin.
I'm going to take the guy that Austin was high on out of the MAC in Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. to kind of shore up that already pretty solid Bears defense from last season.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to, lost both of their starting safeties, but they got Kobe Bryant from free agency out of Seattle, and now they can get him in, on the other side.
Next up, the Buffalo Bills definitely need help on defense.
Shout out Billy.
Shout out Billy. Poor kid.
Bills definitely
Billy,
need
do you
help.
want to come out here and tell us what you think?
Yeah, you want to voice your opinion on the matter?
Who's available?
Kevin Concepcion, Denzel
Casey?
Boston.
Yeah, Casey Concepcion.
I'd be very shocked if the Bills took a wide receiver.
There's no one that I really like. I would like if they traded out of the first and maybe got back their second that they lost for DJ Moore and some more draft capital, because I don't think there's really anyone that's worth it right now.
All right, we're not doing trades though, so get out of here, buddy.
I guess
Austin,
it's
what
up
you
to
got?
Austin.
That's what they should do. And knowing Brandon Bean, that guy likes to trade out. He likes to trade out now.
All right.
Bills will select at 25 or 26, at least in this episode. Like I
trades
said,
are
I'd be
just too
very
much to
shocked if
figure
they
out
took
right
Concepcion or Boston, 2 wide receivers at the top of the board remaining. But then you got 3 defensive players out of Clemson, T.J. Parker, Peter Woods, and Avion Terrell. I think that's where the Bills need their most help, and it was evident in the Broncos game in the divisional. So
It was a catch.
I'm going to take T.J. Parker, the edge out of Clemson.
Okay.
TJ Parker, you said?
Yes, T.J. Parker.
Okay. Interesting. I probably would have gone corner there if I was. Now I got to take for the 49ers. Who's like the worst person in this draft? No. Okay. Well, for San Francisco, you're working with 38-year-old Trent Williams, who's in the contract dispute right now. Either way,
He's
you're
always
gonna,
in a contract dispute.
Yeah. Either way, you're gonna have to. I mean, he can afford. I mean, he's the best offensive tackle in the league at 38.
Oh, I know. I watched him for many years.
Yeah. So, I mean, he deserves to be a bit of a diva, but either way, you're going to have to look for a replacement soon. So I think they're going to take, oh boy, another big name, Max Ehinekor out of Arizona State.
I'd be lying if I said I knew who that was, Calvin. But moving on to Houston now. Moving on to Houston. I think they're a very good team. Obviously, they were let down a little bit by C.J. Stroud's performance in the playoffs. So I think when you're a team like that, where you've already got a really great defense, probably the best defense in the league. I don't know, you maybe might debate that with your own, Calvin, but I think it's time for them to step it up on the line. They obviously traded away Laramie Tunsil in recent seasons, so I think it'd be time to address some of those problems on the line. So I'm going to take Chase Bisontis out of A&M.
Damn, I had to scroll down for that one. That might be a bit of a reach there, Zan, man.
I mean, we're not trading back, so.
Talking about best defenses in the league, I think player-wise, Houston might be over Seattle, but D'Amico Ryans isn't nearly as good of a coach as Mike McDonald.
Just extended Will Anderson
Yeah.
to a 3-year
Big
deal
fan of
today.
him.
Makes him the highest non-quarterback paid player in the league. I think it's like $150 million for 3 years. It's crazy money. But round 1, pick 29, second pick in the first round for Kansas City. They had the 9th overall pick that Calvin, I believe, took Delani for a cornerback. And so I'm thinking they're going to go wide receiver here. I think they're going to go more offense. Kansas City loves their speedy, shorter but speedy route artist wide receivers, and I think that's going to be Kevin Concepcion.
Yeah,
I think I would have taken Terrell out of Clemson there.
Well, he went to Instagram today and just wrote a letter basically saying, like, you guys should take me, I'm a great player, and then finished it with, did I stutter? And then signed his name.
Terrell did?
Concepcion did.
Oh.
He does have a stutter.
Does he act?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ball no.
he didn't stutter when he said that. But anyway, yeah, so now working with
No,
Miami.
It's either him or Tyson. One of the receivers has a stutter.
Interesting. But yeah, I don't know. He was just basically just saying draft me. Now working with offensive, with Miami, they took an offensive tackle earlier in the draft. And, Miami has a lot of holes they need to fill on this team. But you got to get Malik Willis some weapons. So I'm going to take Denzel Boston out of Washington here.
Nice. New England.
Yeah.
Can I pick him a new head coach? That didn't really help. Oh man.
I'm scrambling.
I'm not really sure with with New England. I think they had a great season last year, and I think it'll be a little bit more difficult for them to get back to where they were before. I think we're going to let Cal have Seattle. So, Austin, you want to help me make a pick here?
Yeah, I
should have worn my Seahawks tie.
I also don't know. It's kind of hard to find out or pinpoint exactly where the issues lie for. My goodness, New England. I can't talk anymore. I think they go defense here. I think you really can't go wrong with D-line, edge rusher, or cornerback. I think they're solid with Drake May, so they're not going to look to reach on Ty Simpson at all, who's probably going to go early second round. I'm good with whoever.
Just take best player available
Peter
in
Woods.
terms of feet. In terms of fit. Peter Woods out of Clemson. Feet.
Defensive line. And
All right.
Calvin.
Last
Take us home, Cal.
pick. The reigning champion Seattle Seahawks picking here at 32. And, Seattle very chill in free agency. Really didn't do a lot of conservative, I think is a better
Didn't
term.
need to.
Really don't need to do too much.
Yeah.
The team is already so strong.
Especially with players like Charbonnet.
Okay.
Great player.
One of a weird pick out of all the teams that we have, all the players that we
I
have
was
on the
making
team.
a joke because they didn't re-sign Kenneth Walker. That was
Okay, well, if I'm Seattle, I'm addressing running back in this draft, but I wouldn't want to do it here at pick 32. I think that I wouldn't say more pressing need, but definitely a pressing need on this team is cornerback. They re-signed Josh Jobe, let Tariq Woolen walk. Thank God for that. But now, you have a player, as much as I hate to draft a Clemsonite, at pick 32 here, but I think Avion Terrell is just too good to pass up. He's going to be a great addition to that secondary, and Mike McDonald's going to know just what to do with him. But that is going to do it for our first round mock draft.
cool.
That was fun, guys.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
What a great episode. That is going to do it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Calvin?
I'm looking at my grades right now for my picks.
If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to check out everything SGTV has to offer on Instagram, X, and Facebook at SGTV at USC, or visit us online at sgtv@usc.com.
Alongside Austin McConnell and Calvin DeLude, I'm Zander Collins, and we will see all of you next week on
The Student Section.